Sonia, it's such an honor to be here, to be invited into your house. It feels so good to be in your space.
Thank you.
I feel comfortable, and thank you for having us. So today I really just wanted to focus on this fantastic book that you wrote for me. You're a world-renowned intuitive guide and teacher. How could you have not seen this coming?
Yeah.
And by letting us know, by actually bearing yourself like that, it's just the most incredible offering and gift. So I wanted to ask you why you chose to do this publicly.
Well, what happened was this whole sequence of events. First, I get a call on the night that my brother, a year older, dies in his sleep. And it was so shocking to me because I had just talked to him and I had just said he was a drummer, and he asked me for his birthday to get the Rolling Stones Shine a Light documentary DVD, and I just ordered it the night before, and then I hear he's dead. And then the shock kills my dad 6 weeks later. My father was never sick a day in his life. He never went to the doctor, ever. And then my husband, whom I've always had a struggle with because I was always trying to pull him into this harmony with my experience and my vibration and my interest in my spiritual pursuits, and he wasn't into it. And when he left, I was so shattered. Between those three things, I was just absolutely shattered, and I thought, how can I possibly stand in front of anybody on any level with any integrity and say, listen to me and trust me and follow my way, unless I came back into some semblance of integrity and harmony, and so I stopped. Because my prayer every day, and it's always been my prayer, is may I have the courage to be in the fire of what it takes to be who I really am. Because it takes courage. And so I just walked away, and I took the pill. I got guided to go on this pilgrimage. I prayed on my knees.
You spoke about every day, the gift of the Camino.
Every day.
Every day, if you were aware, if you were awake, if you were open. So,
it was crazy because you step on this journey, and I knew that whatever happened that day was such a mirror of what was going on inside me. Really, of course it would snow. Of course it would be windy. Of the wind and the snow and the fog, and and the rain, and it was so perfectly mirroring my internal confusion and tempest. Right. I realized that my human experience needs to be dealt with, and I need to walk through the fire of all this pain, and I can't have the open heart I want or have the connection with life and spirit that I want if I'm going to pick and choose. And what I found for myself that no other spiritual experience of mine gave me was real compassion for me and for life and for our human journey. Real compassion. Life is hard.
Yeah.
And we're not a failure when we're faced with the difficulties. And we can't bypass them.
I love when you spoke about that the Camino is the way of forgiveness. Yeah. And that we always forget that, yes, forgiveness is something that we have to give to others, but we can't give it away until we give it to ourselves.
What I learned about forgiveness is you have to feel the depth of all of your feelings, and forgiveness is a process. Authentic forgiveness, where you really release it from your being and you are at peace, not just, I forgive, I don't want to deal with this. Our emotional experience is as holy as everything else, even our pain, because to be fully human and be fully available to our potential, we also have to be fully available to feel pain. Our world is absolutely going through a lot of end ships with relationships that no longer are viable, but also end ships with stories that we've had. But we can't just say, oh, I'm over it. We have to go revisit it for a proper and authentic closure.
Right.
And that's what a lot of walking home was for me.
And you also mentioned something about just things kind of getting lost in spiritual platitudes.
I call it spiritual blah blah.
Blah blah blah. I love that.
Oh,
Spiritual
I just blah blah. It's like, namaste and I love you and
Right.
we're okay. And it's like, I'm not feeling it.
Right. Not right now.
I'm sorry.
Right.
This isn't real. This
Right.
is all kind of sort of a nice picture you want to live, and you want me to be in that frame of it's all good, but it's not all good. It's
Right.
all real. It's all beautiful. It's all poignant. It's all meaningful, but it's not all just this plastic,
Right.
I love you, namaste, we're all good, I forgive, because we're more complex than that.
Right.
We have more, our souls are here in the human journey to have a more profound experience than this drive-by.
We've been describing being in Pamplona and famous for the bulls running through town, and you said that it was a great metaphor. For you, I was running from the bullying of my own self-condemnation.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with me, and I thought, so how do you talk back to that inner bully, and have you sort of gotten better at that? And
Well, I will say that one of the things is that voice is kind of pretty quiet these days since the Camino, and when it does show up, I say out loud, that's not me.
right.
I'm that, and as a good Catholic girl, the first commandment is not to have false gods.
Right.
So I call that a false god. When that
Right.
bullying comes up, you say, you're a false god.
That's true. A false deity. I
Yeah,
like that.
you are not that. You are not truth. You are not a God I'm going to humble to.
Right.
And that's
like that.
very powerful for me.
See, that's a great tool. That's why I
Right.
always say you need to develop a toolbox.
Exactly,
To deal with this
and
stuff.
that is what I teach people,
Right.
and that's the way teaches tools, and it's like, that is a tool for me.
Right.
I say it out loud. You are a false god.
Right.
I will not bow to you.
Right.
And it really does work.
It does work. You call it out right away.
Yes.
It's like, okay, we're going to stop that train. Getting off.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you also said that a woman had said to you, it isn't the Camino that is so difficult. It is the carrying of the mental and emotional baggage.
Boy, was that the truth. And as I walked, even with my shattered toes and my feet that took a year to heal, I walked and was able to finish, because every day, a ton of baggage, I just was able to process through in a new, fresh way and release out of my being.
Right.
Not just out of my mind and my frontal lobe, but out of my cells, out of my aura, out of my energy. It was like a colonic. It was like the emotional colonic of the century.
We could feel it as I was reading. Your backpack was getting lighter from your power bars.
Yeah.
You were shedding clothes and giving things away, and it really was literally and figuratively. Just metaphorically.
Yeah, it was a complete
Lightning.
shedding and
Right.
lightning. It was miraculous.
What do you say to people who, it was such a gift that you were able to do this, but what would you say to someone who can't pack up their life or travel across the world or take a pilgrimage? How do we bring the Camino into our lives, and into sort of a practice?
That's a good question. And the meaning of the Camino, it means the way. So it's not the Camino that I think is so significant, although it is. You can do this shedding process by just affording yourself a little privacy, but move. Go for the walk if you
Right.
can.
The active meditation. And
and walk with your own feelings long enough, and they'll start transforming.
In nature.
Yes. Trust every experience you have to be genuinely holy. Frame every experience as holy. And if you can be with it long enough to try to understand it, it'll help you become whole. Back in integrity.
Right.
So just walk with your pain, and rather than see it as something you have to get over, it's a holy experience that will eventually help you become more of who you are and are designed to be. Don't be impatient.
One of your prayers on the Camino afterwards was always asking for the courage to ask all aspects of your life to move into harmony with your spirit, no matter how messy.
That's exactly what, and it is my prayer. Bring it all, bring it on. I'm not going to try to play dodgeball with certain things anymore. Right. For me to be authentic, I have to be available to all parts of me.
Right.
And I have to look at them all.
The sharing of your story allows us to share ours. And there's no greater gift. So I
Thank you.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much.
Read the book.